Currently operated today by Greg, Golf Zero Delta Uniform Bravo, serving as net control for the Raynet UK weekly activity net. This net meets each Sunday afternoon at 4 o'clock local time and is open to all MS radio operators interested in emergency communications. The primary purpose of the net is to provide the opportunity for members to test equipment, exchange traffic, use opinions and information. Additional information and announcements are available on the Raynet UK website, which can be found at www.raynet-uk.net. This is a directed net, which means all calls are conveyed to the net control station unless you're instructed otherwise, and all Raynet UK operators are invited and encouraged to check into the net. When you check in, please announce your call sign slowly and phonetically, followed by your name. If you wish to leave the net immediately after checking in, then please call in and out. Otherwise, if you want to leave after subsequent turns, then please make it clear you want to check out at that time. After a few check-ins, I'll repeat who I've heard. And if you're not acknowledged, then please do try again. And I will be doing some separate calls for any strays who missed their turn as we run through the net. So I'll now begin taking check-ins to the Raynet UK weekly activity net, as usual in call sign number order. So any stations with figure 8 in their call sign wishing to check in, please do so now. This is G4 NRC. Golf 8 Kilo Lima Charlie. Golf 8 Echo Yankee. Bit of a double then. Golf G4 NRC's got Phil, Golf 8 Kilo Lima Charlie. Any other 8s, please? G4 NRC, over. Golf 8 Echo Yankee. Please, got Mike Golf 8 Echo Yankee. Any other 8s, please? G4 NRC, over. G4 NRC, no further 8s. Let's go for 7s. Stations for figure 7 in their call sign, please. G4 NRC, over. Echo Hotel, G788. Seven Alpha Victor Oscar. G4 NRC's got Graham, Golf 7 November Echo Hotel, and Dave, Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar. Any other 7s, please? G4 NRC, over. Heard, so G4 NRC now looking for any stations for figure 6 in their call signs, please. G4 NRC, over. Yankee India, Alan, Raynet, in and out, please, Greg. G4 NRC, good afternoon, Alan, Mike 6 November Yankee India, copied you in and out. Any other 6s, please, over. G4NRC, nothing heard, so any 5s, any stations figure 5 in their call sign, please go ahead. G4NRC, over. G4NRC, struggling on. Let's go for stations figure 4 in their call sign, please, for the RAYNET-UK activity period. G4NRC, over.
G4NRC, E4 Kilo Uniform Juliet, Taqlk in Watford.
G4NRC, good afternoon, Trevor, G4KUJ. Any other 4s, please? G4NRC, over. G4NRC, nothing from the 4s, so let's go for the 3s. Stations figure 3 in their call signs, please. G4NRC, over.
G3VH, Golf Victor, Echo Hotel, Winchester. Name's Chris. Good afternoon, and thanks for coming up with the call. G3VH, in and out.
G4NRC's got Chris, Golf 3 Victor Echo Hotel, and good afternoon, Chris. Copy to in and out. Any other 3s, please, for G4NRC, over. G4NRC, nothing heard, so let's go for the 2s. Stations with 2 in their call sign, primarily aimed at the intermediate 2s. Go ahead. G4NRC, over. G4NRC, second call. Any stations figure 2 in their call sign, please go ahead. G4NRC, over. G4NRC, nothing heard from the 2s, so let's try the 1s. Stations figure 1 in their call sign, please. G4NRC, over. G4NRC, second final call from the stations figure 1 in their call sign, please go ahead. G4NRC, over. Nothing heard, so we're into the rich pickings of the zeros, starting this week with the Mike Zero stations of any regional secondary identifier. Please go ahead. This is G4NRC, over.
0 Golf Uniform Yankee. Good afternoon, Greg. To Zulu, and I will be in and out. Les from Loughborough. M0 JSA, third time lucky.
Hi, Zero Whiskey X-Ray Golf, Shirley in Cornwall, in and out. Thank you.
Juliet Uniform Juliet. Mike, in and out. Thanks, Greg.
Mike Zero in the Tango Mike. Andy in Cornwall, in and out. Thank you, Greg.
G4NRC returning. Okay, nearly doubled some of you then. So, good afternoon, Guy, Mike Zero Golf Uniform Yankee, and Alan, Mike Zero Juliet Sierra Alpha, who's staying with me. Mike Zero Juliet Victor Zulu Les, Mike Zero Whiskey X-Ray Golf Shirley, Mike Zero Juliet Uniform Juliet Mike, and Mike Zero India Tango Mike Andy. Good afternoon to you all, and copied you in and out. Any other Mike Zero stations of any regional secondary identifier, please? G4 and RC, over. G4 and RC, nothing heard, so let's try for the Golf Zero stations of any regional secondary identifier, please. G4 and RC, over.
Golf Whiskey Zero Juliet Lima X-Ray. Good afternoon, Greg. No traffic, so in and out. Thank you very much. Name is Andy. 73.
For an RC returning, so we've got Andy, Golf Whiskey Zero, Juliet Lima X-Ray. Good afternoon to you, and copied in and out. Right, have we got any strays, any UK stations who missed their turn on the call-in who need to call in now? So any UK stations who've been missed, please call now. G4 and RC, over.
Good afternoon. Yes, in and out, Greg.
G4 and RC, good afternoon, Steve. 2 Echo Zero, Tango. Got it wrong now. Tango Delta November. Shouldn't read the log, should look at the screen. And good afternoon, she copied in and out, just noting 4% packet loss coming through on that one, which unusual for you. Okay, any other strays, please? G4 and RC, over. See, then I'll go for any international liaison stations. That's normally Samband in Norway or Arran in Ireland. Please call in. This is G4 and RC, over.
Lima Alpha 6 in the mic. Name is Hans. In and out, Greg.
For an RC, good afternoon, Hans, Lima Alpha 6 India Mike. I thought you weren't going to be there then as a sign that it maybe it stopped raining in Norway. Good afternoon to you, copied in and out. Thanks for that. Okay, let's go through the church notices. The Brandmeister to Raynet Bridge appears to be working in both directions today, so that's good news. Absolute hot news just before the net started, though, is that a merger is about to happen between DV Scotland and Pheonix UK DMR networks. This isn't going to lead to any immediate changes because they're just rationalising their management and things first, but there is talk of rationalising the interfaces with other networks. So hopefully we will continue to retain the link between 23531 Brandmeister and 23531 Pheonix if you can actually get into it, courtesy of it being a user-accessible talk group. The net continues to be live streamed by Graham G7NEH to YouTube. It's an experiment today. Live stream and recordings after the net will be available by searching for Golf 7 November Echo Hotel on youtube.com. Last week's net got 20 views in total. This week's innovation is streaming video of yours truly, the net's controller, with my perfect face for radio. So it's debatable whether that's going to drive the number of views up or down, but at least we're trying different things, and we'd like to know if you find it worthwhile. Please comment in the comments box on YouTube if you do. More emergency planning related. This week saw early opinions from National Grid for the gas and electricity outlook this winter. These are very subject to change, and the final versions are not expected until October. It's one more tool being deployed by system operators to nudge demand downwards to ensure there's enough capacity in what could be a tight market. Everything at this point in time is just scenarios and assumptions and reaffirming that existing commitments like 750 megawatts of power across to Ireland and so on are all factored in, and the expectation that the market will respond to feed whoever pays the most. In the same scenario and assumption theme, the Met Office long-range weather forecast is still showing a rather mixed bag for the whole of the UK, coming up through second week of August onwards. Rain, wind and warmer temperatures are all in the mix. The south is going to have very warm conditions, or most chance of very warm conditions, and a lack of rainfall in the south and east. So hosepipe bans and drought warnings are already going out. In activity terms, only South Wiltshire Raynet appears to be active today. So Cornwall, having had 2 events on one day yesterday to balance out a lull in activity, so are all your events in the national calendar. So with those notices, let's go to Phil, Golf 8 Kilo Lima Charlie from G4 and RC, over.
Yeah, G4 and RC, G8 KLC returning. Yeah, very good afternoon, Greg. Everybody else on the net. Not much to report today. It's been reasonably dry for the last week or so. A couple of showers more than storms. There's some showers around. It's currently drizzling. But, not enough water to do much good on the gardens or much good into the reservoirs. But as yet, we don't seem to have a water man up here. Very little on the radio side, trying to sort out HF antennas and power supplies. If I use my long wire, I've started to not be able to use 40 meters. But if I use the vertical, I can. And that seems to be a strange feature of antenna location and power supply. Say 40 meters for power supply just gets very upset. But UHF and VHF are still working, have no 6 meters, and don't really have any 4 meters. But we are progressing, honestly. G4 in RC in the group, G8 KLC.
Golf 8 Kilo Lima Charlie, G4 and RC returning. Okay, Phil, yeah, I've got something similar. I have some magic bands where switch mode voltage boosters rather than power supplies, the unit that sits to make sure the battery voltage is still 13.8, really hates some bands and manages to blow the 30 amp fuse in that unit. It always makes me smile when we see some of our colleagues in the user services cheerfully bringing out their kit, integrated power supply, radio, and then slamming the magma out right onto the top of the metal case it's all housed in, and wondering why it doesn't work very well. So yeah, it's just another problem that will have to be solved with an amazing amount of ferrite, I imagine. Okay, Phil, away from you and on to Mike, Golf 8 Echo Echo Yankee, G4 and RC, over.
G4 and RC from G8 EY. Good afternoon, all. Well, we've actually had a bit of rain here in Norfolk. Started about 3 o'clock this morning and stopped about 3 o'clock this afternoon. It was sunny, now it's going a bit cloudy. 21 degrees C at the moment. 1,014 millibars. 9 miles an hour wind from 300 degrees and 91% relative humidity, which is the worst part. Well, still a bit humid. Yeah, I've got a busy week coming up. I'm going to spend most of my lifetime on Teams meetings with the LRF in various forms for various planning for various things like Backton exercise and Flood X22. Still no definitive details, that's the trouble. Otherwise, that's about it from Norfolk. No activities of the community style on the horizon as far as I can see. From G8 EY.
Thank you, G4 and RC returning. Okay, right, all copied. One day Graham will surprise me and copy the log sheet up onto the live stream as well, so you can see in real time whether I've copied what you said correctly. So all weather copied, Teams meetings, kept full sympathy, and at least your LRF is having meetings to plan. So enjoy it while it lasts, Mike. Some of us don't have that luxury. Okay, next to Graham to confirm that streaming's running happily. G7 and the G for an RC, over. Yeah, G4, NRC, G7 and the H. Yeah, good afternoon, Greg, and good afternoon to all on the net. Yeah, the stream is running perfectly, no problem at all. Last week's stream was a bit down on views, as you mentioned, but there we go. Not a lot to report from this end. So the stream is running fine, and I'll give an update on today's views on the next round. G4 and RC, G7AH. G7 and the H, G4 and RC returning. Okay, Graham, yeah, just played catch up on the WhatsApps and Dave's reporting it's going okay as well. At least you put some publicity out this week on the Facebook groups. We'll see if that adds anything to the stats later on. This is going back to something that we talked about as a technical team and com many years ago for doing different stuff on video. So the more we play, the more likely we are to make it work properly. Right, next to Dave, Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar, G4 and RC, over.
G4 and RC, I'm 7 Alpha Victor Oscar. Good afternoon, Greg, good afternoon all. Yeah, been looking at the stream, it's working very well, and there's a handsome chap there in control at the moment, as we can see. Quite we keep this end, but the 4-meter antenna is complete, and SWR is below 2, so it just wants a little bit of fine tuning, I think, and that should be ready for our local net in a few weeks' time. Not a great deal to add this further. I will catch you next time round, Greg. Mike 7, Alpha Victor Oscar.
7 Alpha Victor Oscar, G4 and RC returning. Okay, for the benefit of the camera, I'm swiveling my head around to make sure that everything is actually switched on at the right time. Okay, Dave, good news on the 4-meter antenna. Yes, that's the West Cheshire Raynet Group net, which is coming up on the 20th of August. The net of the 5th of August, sorry, 5th of September, no, August, I'm in the right one. 5th of August on Friday night, might have some issues with me being home in time from work to make that happen. So, I'll have to let you know, maybe what you or Graham can mind the store again. Right, next to Trevor, G4KUJ, G4 and RC, over.
G4 and RC in the group, G4KUJ. Good afternoon, Greg, and everybody else. Just comment on the Allen M6 and M0 JSA situation. From the dashboard, I can see that M6 JSA was coming in through the Brandmeister bridge, and M0 JSA was coming in direct to the server. So it sounds as if something around Allen's end was talking cross nodes, if you like, or cross access routes. Apart from that, first time I've been on for a few weeks, as we were away on holiday for 10 days or so. One Sunday I did manage to get onto the net. One point of interest regarding running digital hotspots, etc., on GSM is that when I renewed my Vodafone contract for phones and the data card, they insisted on taking the data limit on the data card off, so I've got unlimited data. So whilst I was away, I ran a sharp open spot and a 5-star hotspot on GSM for 10 days, 24/7, with, as far as I'm aware, no dropouts, which is useful information for taking digital hotspots, etc., out into the field. The only other thing is I run up my QO100 system the day before yesterday, and it seems that my LMB is doing a funny and has moved about 180 kilohertz in frequency, and also lost some sensitivity, which I can only think he put down to the very hot weather whilst I was away on holiday. So I need to do some investigation about that. And lastly, thanks for the WhatsApp regarding the reporting the data contacts back to the States. I'll do that tomorrow, Greg. I might just back it up with an email to Jim, just so he's aware of there's an input coming via radiogram. Apart from that, not much else I don't think at the moment. Back to you from G4KUJ.
G4KUJ, G4NRC returning. Okay, well, Alan is the last person on the net. His usual favourite place. He's the last one to get called in on this cycle. So we'll see what happens then, and if he perhaps just make sure only one hotspot is playing. It does seems a bit odd. It's not quite looping when we do get a reasonable contact made. The good news on the Vodafone, that's fine. No TQO 100 system is off air for the time being. I've still got that to build up. I have a bullseye LNB here, one of the two I've got to try and put into a system at one point. Next IARU exercise for QO 100 is not until, I think it's September, October. So September is going to be October for sure, or Christmas. So time to either solve it or get cooler weather. Okay, next to Guy, Mike 0 Golf Uniform Yankee, G4NRC, over.
Yeah, G4NRC, I'm 0GUA. Yeah, good afternoon, Greg, good afternoon all. Yeah, I'll concur with Trevor. The N6JSA seems to coming in through Brandmeister. To me, it sounds like a pocket dial. It's just crunching noises, but no discernible voice that I can work out. So I don't quite know what that's about. But hopefully after this, we'll get some information. I've finally managed to put up a proper HF antenna in the garden. It's a vertical 6-meter vertical pole, which I've hidden behind the shed, and it actually goes up in between the branches of a big tree. So it's fairly attenuated by the tree, but it's actually picking up some very nice signals. It's a GPA 80, Golf Papa Alpha 80 vertical HF antenna, and it's doing a sterling job at the moment. So very pleased with that. Otherwise, not much else to report. I too only just got back from holiday in Vancouver, Canada, last week before, so I haven't been on the net for a while either. And yeah, watching the YouTube stream. So wave to Greg. My camera isn't showing Greg, but I can see you. And yeah, that's about it. I shall pass it back to you. So this is G4NRC passing back from N0GUA.
Mike 0 Golf Uniform Yankee, G4NRC returning. The joy of the camera is you can see when I'm pushing the button and it not actually clearing through the hotspots and getting access to the system, which is why I look at the dashboard for some feedback. Right, vertical pole hidden in tree, or GPA 80 hidden in tree. Yeah, I have a similar kind of thing. It's a unun unit at the bottom of a 7-meter wire up a fishing pole in a tree. The downside I found was the amazing amount of noise it picked up. It's only later when I started using an active antenna I found that that's just the average level of the noise in the area anyway. So at least you're getting results and get you on HF. We'll get you on some HF data real soon. Trevor and I yesterday were playing in the IRU Region 1 exercise, which was just doing a basic digital message drop. So getting people to send properly formatted Raynet style or IARU style messages, message number, station of origin and all that, dropping them via whatever methods they'd got, and then I had 3 hours to turn all the responses around, and then people picked them up for the 3 hours after that. It was good. We had WinLink. We didn't get any peer-to-peer contacts going around Europe and Region 1. But I did get a couple of messages from Portugal on APRS, reasonably formatted messages. So after an initial, oh dear, this isn't going to work, it actually turned out not too bad, so I'm quite pleased with that bit. Right, with a sense of dread, how many Allens are we going to get this time? Because I am not seeing an M0 JSA. When I look on the dashboard, I only see the M6. Mike 0, Juliet Sierra Alpha, please go ahead, Alan. G4 and RC, over.
Good afternoon, Greg. Good afternoon, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me. That all looks very good on the dashboard, you see. Greg, can you just confirm I'm coming through?
G4 and RC, yes, you're coming through loud and clear, Alan, over.
Yeah, thank you. I can see you on the YouTube and your dashboard, but obviously that's not still live. Okay, I've got no idea what's going on except it's not me and it's not my shack. The M6 JSA open funny noisy stuff was coming in off the Pheonix network off my local repeater. I was coming in off GB7MK, but it is definitely not me. Someone must be spoofing my ID and playing silly games. MK is now dropped off the DMR list. It's not carrying this talk group anymore. So that's not going to be heard on there. The only other one alive on there is GB7AL, which had Steve 20TDN on, but he's gone as well. So currently we're not coming out of Pheonix, and the problem has gone away. It was coming in off my local Pheonix repeater, but not from me. So we'll bear that in mind. Sorry about that. Yes, I'm on the end again. I'm used to being down the bottom and last. That's not a problem. I got excited because all them other people coming after me, but they all went in and out, which is typical. Not much to report from a radio perspective, or even from the Raynet locally. We've got nothing on at the moment. We've got a 999 services day coming up in September, August 21st. Springs tomorrow, Sunday. All the local, all the emergency services will be gathering at the local transport museum for a public show, so to speak. We will be there, but much reduced. Our communications unit won't be there. Our group control won't be there. But we're hoping to get half a dozen people at best to show our face and say hello. That's all very quiet here. Our next scheduled event is October. Back to you, Greg. G4NRC, M0JSA, with an apology, possibly. I don't think that was me.
Mike 0, Juliet Sierra Alpha, G4 and RC. Okay, now that was definitely clean that time, Alan. Nothing came in. You weren't beaten to the punch by pocket dialing or anything else. So, interesting, because I don't think Pheonix Network does any kind of checking. You can do stuff with Brandmeister to make sure it's really, really you that transmits, although it's a real pain in the neck to try and use. So, okay, we'll have to keep an eye on that one and keep listening for any strange noises that report to be you. About scheduled events, well, I think the return to about 16-ish people checking into the net is about right for the 1% of membership we get on these calls. And the beginning of the school holidays for most of the UK last week I thought might take more people away on holiday, but it does mean event organisers are less likely to do stuff, because what's the point if all all your people are fun running around Torremolinos rather than fun running around your friendly bit of the UK. So, okay, I'm gone. We shall go back to the top of the list for any further thoughts and finals. I'm still thinking about Phil's problems with vertical feeding back into PSU. Have you got a choke balun or anything on the coax, Phil, to try and stop RF coming back in on the run from the field down the coax screen? G8KLC, G4NRC, over.
Yeah, G4NRC. Excuse me, G8KLC returning. Yeah, well, it's all black art at the moment. Very quick synopsis. Long wire to the mast above the shack, straight down to effectively a dipole centre, with the long wire going to one end of the dipole, obviously the hot end, and the bottom end being within 6 inches of an earthing stoke, or 4. That sort of works most of the time. Thought we'd try a bit better and put an unknown in the way and move that up. So long wire to one side of the unknown, other side of the unknown down to deck. But this time it's about 2 meters of wire to the same earth point, and that's caused it to go a bit upset. But it's not the final location, so I'll wait till it's the final location is there, and then start doing some proper experiments and approaching it a little bit more structured, as opposed to I wonder whether this will work. So it's not a biggie, it's just slightly annoying at the moment. But with that, no other traffic. Thanks, Greg. And we'll listen on, but we won't come back. G4NRC in the group, G8KLC.
The G4NRC returning. Yeah, I'm just picking up on Alan's point, because he said he was seeing my dashboard. You're actually not Alan, the dashboard on the YouTube stream is Graham's, and that's what he's seeing, albeit only a couple of miles away from me, whereas my screen is off to one side. And I am wondering whether the camera should move so you don't get too treated to my face, but just look at me tapping away as people are calling in. Okay, thanks for the description, Phil. I have a feeling I made a mistake one time in that I have a similar arrangement to yourself, but the choke balun I put really close to the unknown, and then realised that all that lovely RF that's being induced into the ground from the vertical is probably just going to get past the choke balun and unknown and everything else, and just get straight into the remains of the feeder. So the choke needs to be further back and closer to the shack. So let the feeder be part of the radial system if you actually have the space. But yeah, keep moving it, and hopefully the problem will resolve. Okay, thanks for that. Nice to hear you this week. Hopefully next week too. So now for a final, it's Mike. Golf 8 Echo Echo Yankee G4NRC, over.
G4NRC from G8EEY. Yes, I've only got one thing I can say about the Allens. Definitely a different DMR ID to the other Allen. I've got both the DMR IDs logged here, if there's any point in trying to backtrace that. Certainly on the radio it came up with Allen's details each time. From G8EEY.
Golf 8 Echo Echo Yankee G4NRC. Okay, yeah, as stated, I just kept seeing the call sign and the appropriate IDs popping up. Not sure if an extra one's been registered with the same call sign. That shouldn't happen. In terms of getting anything sorted out through the Pheonix side, I guess if they've just gone through a merger with DV Scotland, then trying to get something sorted out at the moment might be a bit of a long shot. But we'll see, and hopefully more detail next week about what this merger between the two DMR networks is going to bring, and whether or not there is still going to be a link between them and Brandmeister. Don't see why there shouldn't be, but anything is possible. Okay, thanks, Mike. Have a good week. Don't go square-eyed with all the Teams meetings, And we'll move down to Graham to see how many live views we've got so far. 27NEH, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC, G7NEH. Yeah, okay, so our live views at the moment is that we've had 12 views so far on today's stream, and a maximum of 8 live viewers at once. Last week's stream was got up to 26 views while we were doing today's event. So that's the stats at the moment. Again, not a lot else to happen in this end. Obviously, we'll be doing the same next week. So there we go. I'll just point people to my post on the Raynet UK Facebook page if they haven't already read it. Please comment on that. Back to you, G4NRC, G7NEH.
G7NEH, G4NRC returning. Okay, that was a bit of a glitch. About 80% packet loss then on to Brandmeister. Right, hopefully none of the comments are get that face off the stream, and let's just leave the backgrounds there. I will keep having a think how we can do streaming differently rather than having to lift it up off Jitsi, but it wasn't having it nicely today just to set up a clean video feed through bouncing through something else. But it's all part of the trialing and testing and everything else we need to do if we're going to be a mixed virtual and face-to-face organisation. Thanks for doing it, Graham. Hopefully we'll get some good comments back. Next to Dave for a final. M7AVO, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC, M7AVO. Yeah, no great deal to have this end, Greg. The stream I've been watching this end has worked very well. Sometimes the slight delay is a bit confusing, but other than that, no, it's been good to see. And just at one point for Guy, I've been using the GPA 80 antenna for a good while, and I found it excellent, as well as just having a short, long wire, if you know what I mean, as well. But no, it's been a good antenna. Back to you, Greg. Thanks for taking that, and thanks to everyone. Mike 7, Alpha Victor Oscar.
Seven Alpha Victor Oscar, G4NRC returning. Okay, yeah, I knew remembered the name from somewhere for that antenna. Yeah, I'll put something on the Graham, Dave, and I have a little WhatsApp chat separately. I was just watching HF propagation, so things have been quite good around 18 megs and even a bit higher than that at times. If only we weren't working at the time that those propagation lifts occurred. So some spots are coming, everything is going well. The last 6 meeting that we did in the West Cheshire Raynet was a bit weird. We couldn't make contact between each other, but there was very good contact, very good reception of many stations down to Portugal and Spain and around Europe on 6 meters, which is why we need to keep trying all sorts of different things. So no frequency and no mode should be considered off limits. However ancient and antique anybody says it is, if we can communicate with it, that's what we should be using. Okay, thanks for coming on, Dave. See you next week. Next to Trevor, G4KUJ, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC and the group, G4KUJ. Yeah, fine, we'll copy it all round. No problems. Yeah, so I think the next QO100 test for IALU is October. And I think I've already pinged you some dates on weekends when I might not be available. I think that probably pushes it towards the end of October, which should give me time to get everything sorted out. I suspect the LMB has suffered. Now, I don't know whether that's because he's got a sealed helical 2.4 aerial fixed to the sort of head of the LMB, which may have caused it to heat up more than it might have done. Or, of course, it got some focus of heat back from the dish onto the LMB. Is always a possibility, although it's a grey dish, so there shouldn't be much reflection of, if the sun gets in the wrong place. But you never know. What else have I done at this end? Oh, I assume you use airmail on Taqlk to contact the WL2K, the WinLink BBSs. I've used generally RMS Express to do that, but I have configured my airmail so I've got HP9AK in now and PA3 GJM. That seems to be working okay. So nothing further from me. Should be around next week, all being well, as far as I'm aware at the moment. G4 in RC, cheers to you and everyone. G4KUJ.
G4KUJ, G4 NRC returning. Okay, there's just a little blip at the start of your last over where Steve, Tango Delta November, was just keeping the repeater awake. Software in use for WinLink stuff from here is indeed airmail, because that will run under Linux as well as Windows. Pat WinLink does not work on NTS links, so it's still the ancient Windows software under not quite an emulator. It's still the only way I've got of operating across both networks. But it was also what I used yesterday to be the home for the point-to-point net. Okay, thanks for that, Trevor. 2 left to go on the net, so it's Guy. Mike 0, Golf Uniform Yankee, 2 to you. G4 NRC, over.
G4 NRC and 0GUI. Oh, that was fairly fortuitous. I have WinLink set up here for WinLink Express on a Windows PC, and connecting via the internet, which is no fun. That's easy doing. That works, but I've yet to get it going over RF, and I've just been fiddling with it at the moment. On HF, it seems to want to go through VARA HF WinLink as a session, and it makes funny noises, but not getting a connection. And then trying to do VARA FM on UHF, or VHF rather, it's really not happy at all. I'm trying to go through my ICOM 705, and all the things appear to be right, but it won't tune the radio. Whereas on HF, it's quite happy to tune the radio. On FM, with the VARA FM app installed, it doesn't want to tune the radio. But if I manual tune it, again, it makes all the right noises, but still don't get a link, so I need to fiddle. But hey ho, this is all learning. It's all stuff to play with. So we will get that sorted at some point. But yes, happy to see what else we can do in digital modes. It's kind of my wheelhouse, so we'll look forward to further discussions on that point. And with that, I shall say thanks for running the net, Greg, and 73s to all, and speak to you later from Mike 0, Golf Uniform Yankee, handing back to G4 NRC.
Mike 0, Golf Uniform Yankee, G4 NRC returning. Hello, we don't seem to be opening up the Brandmeister side of the bridge. Stand by and I'll rekey. Mike 0, Golf Uniform Yankee, G4 NRC. Okay, it looks like we tripped over the bridge, not clearing, or maybe a bit too fast on the changeover then. Right, WinLink, many stations. HB9AK is the power station one in Switzerland. If you can't work that, then you really must have a problem. I think it does do VARA as well. Trouble is, WinLink is not a mode. I have to keep battering people with this. It is just a back end for doing some email that happens to use Pactor and AX25 packet. Is now using RDOP and VARA and various other things. The accusation against the mode remains fairly consistent that to run old WinLink you need an expensive Pactor TNC, and to run VARA properly you need to pay for the software to be the modem. So since VARA doesn't run on Linux, I'm also not playing with it myself either, staying on more basic modes like Pactor, which will still get the messages through, as evidenced yesterday when I pulled 26 messages down off HB9AK. I think it was correction 16 messages down off HB9AK on 40 meters. Not the best of conditions, but the messages did get through. Right, yes, another discussion probably between you, me, and Trevor, and then you can figure out connecting to things and we can hear what's going on. Right, final, his favourite position, but he hates it. Mike 0 Juliet Sierra Alpha gets to close the nets from the stations. M0 JSA, G4NRC, over.
M0 JSA, returning. Yes, I'm always on the end. I'm used to that. I'm not quite sure what Pheonix is doing. I just watched it on the other window. GB7AL, which is Steve's repeater, keeps coming and going off the Pheonix network. It keeps dropping in and out. It's gone again now. So I'm not quite sure what Pheonix is up to. Yeah, for clarification, I have two DMR IDs. One comes up as M6 JSA and one comes up as M0 JSA. And coincidentally today, I thought I'd use the M6 one, but so I'm talking to the hotspot in the shack, and there's an M6 coming up on our local DMR repeater, but I'm not using anything. And I can see all my radios. It's definitely not me. So the repeater's off we're not linked through to MK at the moment, so if they are still about playing, they're not working because they're not connecting through. So yeah, that wasn't me. Okay, yeah, been a busy week. There's been roast net. Thank you for that. All very interesting stuff. I'm making up 7 core rotator leads for plugs and sockets on for my local club. That's giving me something else to do. And that's it really. This coming week, we'll see. We've got a beach evening Monday night. Down on the Pheonix Beach in Suffolk. HFL was near the water. It was a good plan. That's just a new turn up, probably on 20 metres, among others. But we'll see. I'm looking forward to that. It's usually a good evening, and I've been promised a trip to the pub afterwards, so even better. So, Best 73, thank you, Greg, for running the net. Nice to see your happy, smiling face, and a very dubious looking black and white picture on the wall behind you. So that's now I've got a face to do with a name now, so all my illusions have been shattered, and I was thinking of a young, dark-haired 35-year-old. Preferably female, but the voice is a bit too deep for that. I can see you nodding. Very good. I love the YouTube feed. The next challenge is to get us all on there. As we're speaking, get our video up. Yeah, shrug yourself. Thank you very much, Greg. And I forgot who was running the net. Who's running the YouTube, but very good. Thank you for that. And catch you all later. Best 73. Back to you, Greg. G4NRC, M0 JSA, Greg.
Mike 0 Juliet Sierra Alpha G4NRC returning. Okay, Alan. Yeah, I'm just wary about setting the bar a bit high. It's great having the net sort of stored on YouTube so people can come at it later. Maybe we'll encourage a few more people to sign up. And to be fair, we have seen a few more signing up recently to get onto the system. But I don't want to set the bar so high that to control the net, you have to be able to stream your video out for Graham to relay it to everybody else. Likewise, if Graham's not around, how do we get the YouTube kicked out to the rest of the planet. So that's what we're working on at the moment, just getting some recipes sorted out so that it's something that's repeatable across other people as well if we get it right. Okay, so thanks for the kind comments. I think the picture behind me is where I used to live as a kid. So it's a thatched cottage in the middle of Cheshire, which was where I was when I was 5-ish, not anymore. Okay, that closes that one out, and I'll bring that to a close. I think there's a bit of a football game on that people might be wanting to watch, or might be a distraction to some. So I'll close the net and thank all stations for taking time out of their schedules to participate in this afternoon's net. Be careful and have a good week. And until next Sunday afternoon at 4 o'clock in the afternoon local time, I'll close the Raynet UK weekly activity net. Return the talk groups to an open net rather than a directed one. So you can call anybody you like. But meanwhile, 7-3s, this is G4NRC now closing and reverting to my normal call sign of Golf 0 Delta Uniform Bravo. Bye bye.